Again this year, all Walled Lake Schools back-to-school and registration information must be completed through Skyward Family Access for all kindergarten through 12th grade students. This includes emergency cards, concussion forms, code of conduct acknowledgements, and any other paperwork requested by each individual school. The window for completing these forms opens district-wide on August 1st. To begin the online back-to-school packet process, you must log into Skyward Family Access. A link to Skyward can be found on every building website, as well as the Walled Lake District website. Online registration can only be completed using a parent ID. The username for a parent ID is alphanumeric, as opposed to a 7-digit number, which is a student access ID. To obtain a parent ID, please click here for directions on how to request your ID. Once you've logged into your parent account, you will see this year's online back-to-school packet listed among the quick links on the left of the screen. When you click on this link, a menu will appear showing the packet introduction for each school your children attend, with a particular student's name for each child under their corresponding school. You will need to complete the back-to-school packet for each child. Click on the first child's name to begin. The first step for all students is the district's welcome letter outlining the back-to-school packet process. At the bottom right, click on the Next button to move to the next step. The next 5 steps, labeled A, B, C, D, and E, correspond to the information usually updated on the student's emergency card. Step A is the student's individual information. Here you can add a student cell phone number and/or a student email address. This is not the parent's email or phone number. That will be added or updated at a later step. Move to Step B by clicking on the button underneath the student information labeled Complete Step 1A and move to Step 1B. This will check off that you've completed and verified the student information. Notice that a green check mark appears next to Step A on the list indicating that the step is complete. Step B is the student's address. You will not be able to make any changes to this page. If changes are necessary, you must contact the school office and provide the necessary documentation. Click Complete Step 1B and move to Step 1C to move on. Step C is the parent-guardian contact information. Here you can update email addresses and phone numbers if necessary. Click Complete Step 1C and move to Step 1D. Step D is the emergency information. Add any special notes regarding medical information in the box provided. Please only make medical notations in this box. Any other emergency information must be added through the school office. Be sure to include the abbreviation MED: before your note. Click Complete Step 1D and move to Step 1E to move on. The last section under Verify Student Information is the emergency contacts. Here, you may add additional names by clicking on the Add Emergency Contact button, if necessary. You can also edit the phone numbers of any contacts as long as they are not guardians of other students in the district. If an emergency contact is the guardian of a student in the district, that person will need to update their information through his or her own account. Once completed with all 5 steps in the Student Information section, click on the Complete Step 1E and move to Step 2 section. Step 2 is the Demographic Distribution Information Form, the FERPA Form. To view the entire document, click on the View Full Screen button at the top right of the window. If there is directory information or any part thereof that you do not want released, please check the corresponding boxes. You are required to view this form, but not required to make any selections. Please read this document carefully, as it only needs to be completed if you do not want your information included. Once finished, click on the Complete Step 2 and move to Step 3 button at the top to continue. Step 3 for all students is the Student Code of Conduct form. This includes the academic integrity and internet usage policies for the district. You must click on the link to open the Student Code of Conduct document in a new window. Printing and signing is not necessary. You acknowledge viewing this document in the final steps. Once you have read through the document, return to the registration window and click on Complete Step 3 and move to Step 4 button. Step 4 for all students is the concussion form for each student. Click on the document to view the form. You will also acknowledge viewing this document in the final steps. You do not need to print this document. After reading the document, please return to the registration window and click on Complete Step 4 and move to Step 5. Step 5 and on will vary by building. If a link is provided, You will need to click on the link to open the document or web page before you will be able to complete this step. One of the remaining required steps for high school students is the dance contract. Click on the link to open the document in a separate window. You will acknowledge viewing this document in the final steps of the Back to School packet. The signatures will be recorded electronically, so there's no need to turn in a hard copy. After reading through the document, return to the registration process. Another required step for high school students is the completion of an educational development plan. Click on the link to be taken to the high school registration page. Here you will find a link to career cruising, as well as the EDP requirements and directions broken down by grade level. These are updated each year. Every student must complete and update their EDP each year as part of the graduation requirements. Failure to do so will delay the registration process. Another step in the registration process will be access to the food service application. From this step, you can complete the application for free and reduced lunch, or check the box that states, "I do not qualify for benefits," or "do not wish to complete an application." One of the steps will be to pay fees and make payment on lunch account. This will link to the district's payment system, eFunds. After logging into eFunds, you will be able to pay for any fees or other payments. Included among the fees in eFunds are pay to participate fees, parking passes, yearbook purchase, and fees associated with particular programs and courses. Please note that paying for a parking pass through this process does not guarantee a parking pass. Students will need to check in at the parking pass table during registration. Once all fees are added to the cart, click Continue at the bottom of the screen. There is a convenience fee charged per transaction for paying through eFunds. You may add fees for multiple students to your cart and check out at one time to reduce the convenience fees charged. Click on this link for a separate video showing how to create an eFunds account. Click on this link for a video showing how to use the eFunds program to pay fees and to add to a student's lunch account. The parking information form is made available to students in grades eligible for parking. This form should be completed by any licensed students wishing to obtain a parking permit now or in the future. On this form is listed the policies associated with a parking pass in each school, including policies, eligibility, and regulations. Students can complete their vehicle information, including the license plate, year, make, and model of any car they are likely to drive to school. Completing this form does not guarantee a parking permit. Also, a parking permit will not be issued unless the parking fee is paid either through eFunds or in person at registration. ID pictures will be taken during registration. Although there is no obligation to purchase, families can choose to order picture packages through LifeTouch's website using the code provided in the directions on this step. If you would like to order pictures at this time, you can click on School Pictures link and the LifeTouch website will open in a separate window. As an alternative to purchasing a yearbook through eFunds, families can also purchase yearbooks directly through the publisher's website through an additional step. Another step is labeled as Additional Registration Forms. This is a required step. Clicking on the link provided opens the registration website, listing all additional forms in a separate window. These forms include the Administration of Medication Form and Board Policy, the Busing and Transportation Handbook and Brochure, the Criminal History Form, which is a form required for all volunteers that will be working one-on-one with students and must be printed and returned to school for each volunteer. Also included are the pesticide advisory and student insurance options. Also found in this area are links to the district athletic forms, including the student athlete handbook and pay to participate information. In addition, each school has additional forms that are specific for just that school. Click on the school name to jump directly to that school. When finished, return to the registration window. The second to last step for all schools is the Acknowledgement Form. Click the link to open the form. Electronically signing this form indicates that you and your student have reviewed and approved all of the prior steps in the registration process. Click the View Full Screen button at the top of the window to view the entire document. Both the parent and student signatures are required on this document and indicate that both of you acknowledge and agree to all statements and assurances provided. After signing, you may print a copy of the form for your records by clicking on the button at the top left of the window. The signatures will be recorded electronically, so there's no need to turn in a hard copy. Once finished, click on the Complete Step button at the top of the screen to continue to the final step of the Back to School packet. The final step for all schools is the Submit and Complete button. Here, you will see a list of all the steps, required and optional, and the status of each. Once all have been completed, the Submit button at the bottom of the screen will become active. Click on this button to complete the registration process. Your Back to School packet will not be complete until you have clicked on this button. You'll be taken to a confirmation page to verify that you've completed registration as well as receive an email. If you realize you need to make some changes, you may do so by clicking on the link that says, "Mark the Back to School packet as not completed and make necessary changes." You will need to be sure to resubmit the packet again once finished. If you have additional students in the district, complete the Back to School packet for each student by following these same steps.